Not long ago, I picked up one of these mini blowers to use around the workshop. They have many uses, but I typically use them for quickly clearing off my workbench or even blowing the dust off of items I'm sanding. Something I noticed about the blower I purchased, and many like it, was that the trigger is usually not recessed and can easily be pressed when grabbing the blower by the handle. I want to modify my blower to prevent this shortcoming next. There's two ways I'm thinking I can modify the blower to prevent accidental trigger presses. One option is to glue a raised barrier around the button, similar to my rough sketch. This would protect it from a lot of accidental presses, but small and pointed objects could still get to the button. The other option is a sliding on-off switch so that even if the trigger is pressed, nothing will happen if the power is off. The completed mods may not look exactly like this. A lot depends on what parts I can find, and for the on-off switch, where I can find space inside for the mounted switch. I looked over the blower and it doesn't have any screws holding it together, so I'm looking for the safest way to pry it apart without breaking anything. The three ends of the blower look like they're meant to hold the rest of the body together, so I'll pry those off, then see how things go thereafter. Even with the ends pried off, the body still seems held together with clips between the seams, so I'll continue prying as careful as possible. Now that I have a better view of what the internals are made of, I'm having different ideas for the recessed trigger, but still have to put some thought into the on-off switch. The trigger of this blower activates a 4-level switch with on-off and 3 power modes. The existing trigger is a piece of plastic that floats within a hole in the case and contacts a push button soldered to the circuit board. The piece of plastic is not connected to the circuit board button at all. Something that I'm noticing is that without the plastic piece, the circuit board button by itself is recessed within the blower case quite a bit, enough to protect it from being accidentally pressed. I'm wondering if instead of adding a protective wall around the plastic piece, I could instead eliminate the plastic piece and use the recessed circuit board button instead. With the blower case enclosing everything, the hole over the circuit board button is big enough for my finger to fit into and press the button. Nothing protrudes from the hole in the case, which is exactly what I wanted for the recessed trigger. I stuck a piece of Post-it over the hole on one side of the case. This is simulating a piece of rubber I'd glue over the hole to keep it covered but still accessible. To turn on the blower, I'd press the center of the rubber piece, which is soft enough to allow the button underneath to be pushed. I did find a piece of rubber that looked sufficient to serve as a button cover for the blower. I used this leftover rubber watch band from my Fitbit. It was thick, but not too much. The width was perfect and I only needed to cut it to length. I've already glued it over the hole in the blower case. It's only been drying for 3 hours, but I'm going to leave it for 24 hours to be sure the small amount of glue holding it in place will hold securely. The rubber will have to endure a lot of repeated pressing when the blower is in use, so I want to give the glue the best chance possible. With both halves partially fitted together, you can see the nice fit the rubber cover will have once both halves are snapped into place. Fingers crossed the glue will hold strong, but I'll see how things go in about 20 hours. Now that the glue has had time to dry, I'll reassemble the blower so I can test the new button and make sure the blower still functions. I'm hoping there's no need to disassemble the blower for any reason, because the clips that hold the case together look fragile. The button seems to be working fine right now. I'll have to see how it holds up over time, but a close inspection of the glue on the sides looks promising. What helps is that the rubber doesn't have to move much to press the button, so I have high hopes for this modification. Now that my blower has a recessed button, I'm sure it'll prevent the accidental activations I kept having in the past. I hope this video can be of help to you. Leave any questions or comments you have in the comment section down below. That's all I have for now, and I'll catch you in the next video.